I'm here to give you my honest assessment on 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy and his performance against the Packers. Now, I know you guys have seen it. Brock Purdy has clearly become a target for pundits, media, doubters, what have you. And, I'm not going to pretend like last night didn't fuel the fire in some aspects of it because Brock did struggle in this game against the Packers. He had a hard time gripping the ball. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we've come to learn about Brock Purdy. We have enough sample size now that we can look back at multiple games and see how a wet ball really impacts Brock's ability to throw the football. Think about the wild card round playoff against the Seattle Seahawks last year when it started out raining and that first drive of the game. He had balls sail on him, get away from him, and he just had a hard time. But then as the game progressed, he got under control and started throwing dimes. You go to the Cleveland Browns game, that was a huge game where it started raining in the second quarter. We saw that one throw where the ball just pops out of his hands. And for the remainder of the game, he just really struggled with accuracy. And my biggest takeaway from that Cleveland Browns game was, man, this rain really affects Brock. And then fast forward to this game against the Packers, and you could see the same thing. Brock Purdy even came out with a glove on his hand in the first drive, and then he took it off. So clearly, there is some kind of issue with Brock gripping the ball when it's wet. We have a trend now, and it's kind of built up. So that will be something that we look for every single time we're coming into a rain game, is that it does affect Brock. It's almost like kryptonite, like where Brock in any other circumstance plays really well. But when that ball is wet, it really feels like he has a hard time gripping and ripping. And he struggled with it throughout the game. But all that being said, that last drive by Brock Purdy was phenomenal. And when the team, when the fans needed a clutch moment, guess who showed up? Brock Purdy. And that's why Brock Purdy has earned the trust of this fan base. And that is not taken lightly. 49ers fans just don't blindly trust quarterbacks. It's just how we have so much PTSD. We've been through the ringer so many different times that we're very hesitant to kind of rally around a quarterback. That's why in this current time that we live in, where majority of the fan base is completely rallied behind Brock, he again proves to us why he's that guy and why he's the franchise quarterback moving forward. Yes, it didn't look great. It really didn't. There was moments where you're like he had a dropped interception, balls were going to the ground. You had some miscommunications on like I believe a route with Ray McLeod that looked to be wide open, which isn't completely his fault. But honestly, like when we look at everything, when we look at Brock in totality, and we look at the end of that game, that's where Brock shines. Like the pressure was on him. And again, it's a huge optics game. The entire world is watching. It's a primetime game similar to the Ravens game. So you get a lot of comparisons between people who don't really watch the 49ers. They just watch the big primetime games. So they saw the Ravens game. Now they see this game. And so they're going to continue to take shots at Brock Purdy. And that is fine. But at the end of the day, man, for Brock Purdy still being a second-year quarterback, this is his first full season as a starter. You know where he was drafted, all that kind of stuff. To be able to handle the pressure of having almost an entire game just go sideways on him for whether weather reasons, for whether feeling the pressure, whatever it may be, when it was time to clutch up and it was time to go win the game, they did it. And that's why Brock is just injecting this fan base with confidence within him. That whole game was low-key a disaster. And you've heard it from the players. You've heard it from Kyle Shanahan. All three phases struggled in that game. Offense, defense, special teams all had miscues. And regardless of that, with a really good Packers team who came into Levi's ready to go and ready to fight, the 49ers withstood haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. And one of the biggest elements for evaluating quarterbacks is the mental aspect of it. Like, again, one of the reasons why Brock is discredited in the media is because he isn't a Josh Allen body type. He doesn't have the huge arm, he doesn't have the imposing size. And that's why he was the last draft pick in the NFL draft. He was Mr. Irrelevant for physical reasons for that I mentioned. So he's going to get knocked, and he will continue to get knocked for those elements. But in that last drive, what showed up when it mattered the most was his poise, his composure, his calmness, and his ability to stay on track in a crucial situation. Fred Warner talked about it. He said when they knew that was their only chance to win that game, that drive, they had to score. It was the only opportunity they had to win, and Brock drives them down. And that last drive even had some adversity to it. You had George Kittle drop that 2nd and 6, I believe it is, and then Brock stands in the pocket and delivers a freaking dart to BA over the middle of the field. The defender was in phenomenal coverage. I mean, literally only put the ball where BA could get it. BA makes a phenomenal catch on 3rd down. I mean, it was 2-down territory to begin with, but boy, oh boy, a difficult throw nonetheless. And you had the out to Conley against the sideline. Brock did exactly what we needed him to do on that last drive. And again, this isn't a comparison. I said this on my live last night. This isn't a comparison. This isn't it's just a reference point. You see the guy over my shoulder, Joe Montana. We remember the catch as the most iconic play in 49ers history that launched the dynasty. What we don't remember are all the turnovers that Joe Montana had in that game leading up to it, right? We only remember the 8 seconds down or however many seconds down they were, him sprint right option, pump faking, Dallas defenders bearing down on him, throwing it to the back of the end zone. Dwight Clark elevates and goes and gets it. We remember that. And while a big point of emphasis from this game is going to be how poorly the 49ers played, and that was a huge point of emphasis in the pressers, when we're years down the road, all we're going to remember is that final drive. We're going to remember the Dre Greenlaw interception, and that's what matters. What matters most is getting the W, standing in the face of adversity, dealing with the pressure, and being able to fight for your team and lead this team down the field was monumental. And people are trying to discredit his performance because he didn't play well for the entirety of the game. But again, part of football is overcoming adversity. It's not about playing perfectly sometimes. Sometimes it's about, oh crap, I've made about 14 mistakes, but we're still in this game and we still have a chance to win. Who is going to overcome adversity? And when you have a quarterback who can overcome adversity like that, just like he has his whole career, he is going to be better for this game. This whole team is going to be better for this game, and they are going to continue to push and push and push and get better and better and better and better. I was saying it leading up to this game. Pressure makes diamonds. This team has been in the pressure cooker before. And when push came to shove and the pressure was on, Brock Purdy made the plays. Jordan Love threw the interception. And that is the point, is that when pressure is on, how do you respond? And Brock responded in the only way he could for the 49ers to win this game. And that's why Brock Purdy will be this franchise quarterback moving forward. He is the guy. This team loves him. This team respects him. This fan base loves him. And we don't care about the outside noise, to be honest. Like, I really don't. People are going to pick him apart for the rest of his career. He's going to get the Steph Curry treatment. He's going to get the Tom Brady treatment. It's fine. And I think that will just continue to fuel him. And for us as 49er fans, the biggest takeaway from this game wasn't how he struggled early on. It's how he clutched up at the end. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that statement couldn't apply any better to a game like football. Sometimes you play like crap for about 40 minutes, 50 minutes in a 60-minute football game. But as long as you keep it in reach, within distance, you can make the plays at the end. And that's where the legacies are built. That's where the glory comes from. And that's why I believe in Brock Purdy. I am so proud of this team because if you're a 49er fan, you know this team has been so close so many times. And I guarantee you those thoughts raced through your head yesterday. And so to be able to see them come out with the dub, led by Brock Purdy down the field. And again, it was a team effort. It wasn't just Brock. It was a team effort, and this is a team game. So absolutely. Kyle Shanahan called great plays. They executed. Christian McCaffrey punches in at the end. Dre Greenlaw comes away. Like I said at the beginning, all three phases struggled. But just like Kyle Shanahan said in his presser, all three phases came out and made a difference at the end. Even Jake Moody. Jake Moody had the block field goal, and then his 52-yard make ended up being the difference in the game. 49ers won by 3 points. Instead of scoring to tie, they scored to go up. And that is because of Jake Moody making the 52-yard field goal. And hey, a little luck doesn't help, or isn't a bad thing, I should say, when the Packers missed that field goal. So my honest assessment of Brock Purdy, and I am someone who is I guess at this point, a Brock defender. I've been on, I've seen and evaluated Brock, and have been as honest as I can be about my evaluation of him. And again, we're never going to talk about Brock Purdy as being an elite physical specimen at the quarterback position. That's just not how it is. And we're never going to talk about him like that. I will never talk about him like that. But how he wins is with his heart and with his head and his ability to be able to understand situations. And he's got a good enough arm. He's got definitely a good enough arm. That's not the problem. The problem last night was the weather. That's the big element of that game that I really think impacted Brock. And so you're going to see it on the timeline all day. People are going to be taking shots. People are going to be discrediting what he does. That's fine. That's fine. Because right now, it's 49ers versus the world. It's time to circle the wagons. We got the NFC Championship game next week. And Brock will be our quarterback. And I am extremely confident because of it. So I want to hear your guys' honest assessment of Brock Purdy, how he played, how you view him, your evaluation of him. Let me know how you guys are feeling about Brock in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.